Hi, and welcome to April 2026. Okay, so this month we are still dealing with 10, which is the global cycle, until September 22nd, and then we'll be officially in a 1. So we're still dealing with the 1, but we're dealing with the 0 as well. So we're dealing with 10, which is a bit of a different vibration than the 1. We're dealing with 4. April is 4, and then this month in 2026, April also equals 5. So we are going to be dealing with the number of vibrations this month of 4, 5, and then 10. So let's start with 10. This month, 10 is asking us to really get clear on what we want to radiate. So do we want to radiate? Are we radiating love? Are we radiating peace? Are we radiating fear? Are we radiating anger? Not judging, just starting to become aware of what are we radiating. So think of our radiation as our broadcast signal. So if I'm predominantly in a lot of fear, I'm going to be broadcasting and radiating out fear. So one of the most powerful supportive things we can do for ourselves is just every day start off in the morning, maybe even just before you get out of bed, just tuning in and asking, what do I want to radiate today? And can I radiate oneness? Can I radiate harmony? Can I radiate love? Can I radiate peace? It doesn't mean we're not still going to have, flushing out of fear, flushing out of anger, but allowing those emotions to flow rather than holding them steady in our energy field. We want to actually flow and move them. Interesting, something that came up as well is we're going to be working with 4, which is also the mind, thoughts. It's also about reactivity and reaction. And so a little technique that came through potentially to do is to imagine that you're closing a door or you're opening a door. So think of every vibration, every thought that we have. Oftentimes we'll have repeating thoughts, we'll have repeating memories. Those are connected to vibrations. They could be connected to emotions, but they're connected usually to something deeper, even like our past, that keeps us anchored and tethered into our past. So how do we start to really come back into the present moment without overthinking it, without getting caught up? We want to break those loops. And this is a month to help us to do that, because this month is also around the mind and being able to take a pause and a step back and just kind of checking in. Where am I at? How am I relating to this? How am I responding to this? So an example of a quick thing that we can do to respond to that is just imagine I'm feeling fear here. I'm closing that door and I'm opening the door to love. I'm opening the door to let my soul rise. And you can just actually visualize that, or you can just in your mind think it, closing that door. Still tuning in sometimes to think, like, is this something I actually need to process? Is this something that I don't want to bypass and just kind of like, not deal with if it's something deeper within us that we need to actually address? In what I mean by that is, do we have to transmute it? Do we have to release it? But this month, and all the energies we've just flushed out, sometimes we can get too lost in processing and too lost in, now that's important, so we don't want to bypass. And I feel like for each of us, that's our own kind of discernment, really tuning in to knowing, what do I really need right now in this moment to come into my heart, to come into more love, to come into more compassion, to come into my true own authentic energy field and truth, or a sense of self. So this month, maybe try, if this resonates, just try, I'm closing that door. We have a choice, we're at hearing this, we have so many choice points that we're dealing with, and because we really want to activate and honor our sovereignty, which means we have to choose it, because if we don't do it ourselves, then we're waiting for something outside of us or another person to do it for us, and we're not in our sovereignty. So just little baby steps that we can do to just actually keep choosing, and that's a great technique. I'm closing that door and I'm opening this door. And the invitation for us too is, when we do close a door, open a door in response or in replace of that. So if I'm closing a door on fear, I'm opening a door of love. It could be you're just visualizing, I'm opening a door and just this immense light is coming through. Think of that as the soul essence, the soul energy. Sometimes that can feel really abstract. What does the soul mean? And what is that, like, what's the difference between personality, soul, etc.? This month, maybe just play with opening a door of light and just know or be open to the possibility or the essence that is your soul. That light is your soul. And as we start to open up and just allow it to come in, just keeping the mind out of it, we're just allowing and we're opening up, then it can start to, the energy and the essence and the consciousness of our soul, which is our true essence, our true truth, divine presence, that's when it can start to, I keep saying it, that's when the soul essence can come through and really start to infuse our personality. And that's when it becomes so much easier to release the fear, release the anger, release being caught up in the matrix, the drama, the things that are going on. So we want to just really start to be able to come back into our own body this month. Okay, so let's talk about 5 a little bit. So this month we're dealing with 5. And in the 10, if we're using the 10 calculation, this is also a 14-5. So this is really about slowing down and coming into the body, not necessarily slowing down with the energy. The energies are going to start to really be moving quick, but it's about being able to, as things are maybe moving and flowing fast, how do we stay grounded in our body? So that's what I mean by slowing down, coming into our body. So it could be slowing down enough. So the visual I'm getting is, it's like you're in an eye of a storm. So there could be, or just a really fast moving river. You want to allow yourself to be in the river, but you want to be strong in your body. So you're steady and you're present. So you're not just hijacked and kind of pulled by the river. You're participating in that flow of river by being steady and present in your body. So for me, that would mean slowing down through my day to stay grounded. And that doesn't mean that I'm not maybe like going through a lot of things through my day. It just means that I'm pausing, I'm connecting to my breath. I could be having a conversation with somebody and I'm still tuning in. How's my body feeling right now? Am I grounded? Am I starting to get pulled out? Am I starting to get spacey? Am I starting to feel a little bit swooshy? You know, does my body need something? So the body is going to be talking to us a little bit more this month. And it could be just that whatever the body is asking us, it could be leading us to connect more with the body, have more of that relationship with the body so that we can lead with the heart. So we can start to really feel so rooted and so grounded and so safe that we can then really start to rise and be inspired and excited to start to create, you know, the new earth and just be inspired to be creative or be inspired or be relaxed to be able to, 5 can show up, can ask us to be relaxing as well, actually. So it can just be asking us like, what do we need in order to just come back into the flow so that we can be back into alignment, back into radiating whatever we've set the intention to radiate. So if we're going to be radiating, we need to be in our body rooted and grounded. If we're going to be leaders of the heart, we need to be grounded and rooted. So what does that mean for us this month? And the 4, 4 can be asking us to really, where am I being overreactive because I'm not grounded in my body? If I'm overreactive, and if we are, we don't want to, we could be a little bit more triggered this month with that 4. And if we are, it's because it's helping us to sometimes see it after the fact. And then we have an opportunity to reflect. Okay, I felt this after I had this trigger. Maybe I didn't even respond. Maybe I just felt it. So what is that about for me? Is that about me closing a door? Is that about me seeing that I still have some wounding here that I need to address or honor? Or is this helping me to see that I need more self-care? I need to, just nourish myself differently or more? Do I need to move my body? So it could be, again, finding that balance. 5 is about balance and moderation. So finding this new balance with the new energies that we're going to be experiencing, finding a new balance with the information and the disclosure that's happening on the world stage, not getting caught up in those vibrations. Being able every day to say, I call all my energy back that's scattered out into the universe. So think about every time we tune into something, whether that's a text message, whether that's social media, whether it's new information that's coming through, every time we're tuning into something, we're tuning into, or we're giving energy to something, we're going over and over it in our mind, we're researching something, we're opening up to those frequencies, we're opening up to those thought forms. We're giving our energy to that. So invitation for us, especially right now with everything that's happening on the world stage, is can we bring it back? Can we bring our energy back? So Could be just, what do I want to radiate at the beginning of the day, and at the end of the day, I call all my energy back that's scattered out into the universe, and I bring it back. I call it back as usable energy. That's us reclaiming our power. That's us staying in our power, or being more aware of where we're leaking. And that doesn't mean we don't still want to honor by service or honor by giving our energy, but we're doing it consciously and more mindfully rather than just leaking our energy. Because part of what we're really learning about is we want to be a little bit more mindful of our energy so that it's not leaked, it's not harvested, it's not hijacked from us. So we want to bring it back, and we want to be able to then ground that energy within our body, right down deep into our root chakra, right down even deeper into our Earth Star chakra, into Mama Earth. So Mama Earth might show up a little bit more this month as well, because we're dealing with the 5, which represents the body, which also represents Mama Earth. So coming back to the 5, we may be called to ask, what am I willing to change? And then the 10 is saying, what am I willing to change? And then the 4 is going to say, well, how am I relating to this potentially? How do I want to respond? Who do I want to be? What do I want to build for myself? What kind of life do I want to build and see for Mama Earth, for humanity, for the collective? If you ever feel this month with the 4 energy that you're feeling limited, you're feeling blocked, you're feeling kind of stuck in some way, the invitation is to take a step back and then just ask Spirit, or you can do this yourself, but if you feel stuck with it, ask Spirit, help me to see this from a different perspective. That's the relating. How am I relating to this? How am I relating to information? How am I relating to my relationships? And how am I wanting to relate to this? So if I want to radiate love, then how am I relating to my relationships? Am I able to come, that's the leading with the heart, am I able to come from that place without abandoning myself? So I love this saying that empathy without boundaries is self-abandonment. So again, being in our sovereignty is saying, I want to have empathy, I want to come from a place of love, I want to be love, and at the same time, I don't want to abandon myself. For some of us, especially if you're an empath, some of us, that's a lifelong lesson, or it's not necessarily a lifelong lesson, but it's definitely, there's training that we've had to potentially put into this, because we will abandon ourselves and not even know it sometimes, potentially. So this is a month to also really start to be aware of that in maybe a new way, coming in and having the ability to come into a new balance with that, a new balance and a new understanding. And that's the beautiful element of the 4 and of the 5. I have a new understanding because I've been able to take a step back and see things from different perspectives. I'm able to see my thought patterns. Are they serving me? Can I close the door on the old that's no longer serving me and open up to the new, allowing my soul to rise through and allowing this new me that wants to birth through to come through? And in that, I can find a new balance so that I can show up for myself, and I can then show up for the highest, greatest good for others without abandoning self. That might be the new balance. What am I being asked to potentially change within myself? What am I being asked to be more open about, courageous about? And courage, oftentimes people get scared when they hear courage. Courage doesn't mean that something major has to change or has to happen. Know that, we have the courage sometimes to just say, wow, like I'm tired. I need to rest without guilt. That can be courage. Courage can say, I have fear around the situation, and I'm going to do what I'm called to do anyway. And that could be just, depending if you're dealing with a lot of real intense anxiety, or you're dealing with illness, or you're dealing with just a lot of stress. That could be, I'm just going to go to the grocery store, and I'm going to go say no to something because I need to take care of myself. So courage, it's these little moments, when we really can tune into ourselves and we can really be honest with where we're at and what we're feeling. And then from that place, continuously coming back into that, what did I choose to radiate? That's our alignment check-in point. So I feel like with all the energies going on, especially if you are a little bit more sensitive to energy, you're a little bit more prone to emotions. Some people just really, they're not emotional. And some, especially if you're empathic, you are maybe a little bit more emotional. There's different degrees to it. So again, it's about really honoring the self without comparison, just really starting to really come into a space of harmony. So just to kind of finalize, I'm just going to invite you actually to take a minute right now and just take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And then a nice exhale from the mouth. And just let all heaviness, tension, fear, stress, let it all release. And again, just take a deep breath in and then deep breath out from the mouth again. Now come into the heart, and can you feel yourself starting to come into an essence, a feeling of harmony? Can you intend or imagine that you're in harmony with all life? Can you feel, intend, or be open to the oneness of all life? Can you bring that into your body? Affirming, I am one with Source. I am one with all of life. I am harmonized with all beings. I radiate love. I open the door to the light of my soul. I am grounded. I am safe. I am powerful, so powerful, from the heart. My power comes from my heart, from the love consciousness that I am. And nothing I have to do, I am that. That is our divine presence in us. I am powerful. And I am at ease. So inviting you to take a deep breath in and deep breath out again. And I'm gonna wish all of us a very easy, powerful, grounding, fun, light, balanced, and joyful month. Wishing you a really beautiful month. And I hope all is well in your world, and I hope you're staying grounded and gentle with yourself. Lots of love. Namaste.